Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer. I am Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze, and I have with me Eric, the Green Owl McCabe.
Green Owl.
The Green Owl.
The Green Owl.
Classic nicknames.
I dig it.
And Robert McCall. So, McCall.
Robert, one step closer to 1,000 rated McCall.
Wow.
Sucko.
Only a little bit closer.
I mean, if he's smart, he'll just quit playing right now.
That's right.
Yeah, but that's not in the
I'm no
spirit
longer
of the
interested.
game.
It is not.
That's not in the contract.
Yeah,
That's
really,
right.
yeah,
That's right.
on the contract.
It's official.
All right, guys. Welcome again to another episode of Disc Golf Answer Man. So glad to have you guys a part of the show on the audio, and of course, you guys watching on YouTube. If you're not aware, we do a YouTube video, and we post these on our Dynamic Disc Facebook.
On
YouTube
Facebook?
page. On Facebook, yeah.
Wow.
On the YouTube page. And actually, we are in the works of something really cool that I should have told you guys before
we started the show.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
That-
We're going to be live on ESPN?
No, I wish. No.
Oh.
Dang. Okay.
No, but so something that I think is a cool idea, but it might take a little while to implement. So it was actually somebody I had
Cliffhanger?
an idea I had.
Is he going to tell us?
He's not going to tell us. Guaranteed.
Not on the air.
Oh.
It's the secret.
Oh.
We tried, guys.
So you'll find out. You'll find. I'm not even sure which camera to look at. Apparently, I'm looking at
That one
both
does not
cameras.
see you at all.
No, it
Camera
doesn't.
one? Camera
Camera
two.
Dude, Wayne's World.
Camera two.
Excellent reference.
All right, back to disc golf. So, what did you guys do over the weekend? Let's do a weekend recap.
Weekend recap.
Of course, it's Thursday. Sorry that it
Yeah.
we had some stuff come up. We had some other filming to do and things like
Some
that. So we had
events
to
and such.
move things around. So to apologize for that, we're actually going to do a giveaway this particular episode. And it's the Latitude 64 Beadle, and we'll go over that here in a little bit.
Beadle.
So back to the weekend recap.
Cool. You want me to start?
Go for it.
I went down to Texas for a tournament with Paige Bierkus and her boyfriend Alan, and my wife Shay came down as well. And we played a tournament called the Wild Hair, which is in Abilene, Texas. That's where I learned to play disc golf. And so I lived there during that time, and then moved to Austin, and then moved up here. And I probably hadn't been back in 5 or so years. So I had a lot of friends to catch up with, a lot of people to see. But it was kind of strange walking back onto those courses. It was like, I don't know, nostalgia. Like I played there so much because right when you start playing disc golf, you are super addicted, and you just go and throw and throw and throw.
Did you step up to any holes that you used to throw like a driver on, and now you're like, wow, I would out throw this with my putter?
No, because by the time I left, I was around the same distance that I am now.
Okay. So 300 feet.
Yeah. Just if I get a hold of it. But yeah, it was really windy. It's pretty much always windy in Abilene, and living in Kansas has helped out with that game. I lost a little bit of my wind game in Austin, and so it's good to have some more experience with it here. And so I ended up winning the B tier. That was actually my first B tier win. I've got like
Congratulations.
12 C tier wins. Thanks.
High five.
Now 1 B tier win. Average 10-20 on the weekend.
Solid golf.
10-27 first round. I was leading by 3. And then 995 second, it was just kind of a flat round, honestly. And the guy in second made up 1 on me, so I was leading by 2. And then third round, it was really windy again. I just played really clean. I didn't make a whole lot of mistakes. I made pretty much 1 mistake each round, got 1 bogey each round, and that was about it. So last round was a 1039.
Solid.
Yeah, it was all right.
Is that close to your highest?
No, 1060s is my
okay,
highest.
okay.
But I mean, it was
Highest
it was
in a
good-
while.
Yeah. It was a really good round. I missed a couple putts I probably shouldn't have. Right to left crosswind putts are pretty
Hard.
difficult for me as a hyzer putter, and so I'm still learning those. Probably missed 3 of those from 25 to 30 feet.
Cool.
So, but it could have been super hot, but instead it was good. I ended up winning by 10. The guy in second did not have a great round, and so it was a good weekend.
Solid.
And then
And you had some good pros there.
Yeah, we had some good players. Steve-O and Brad of DD Carrollton were running the tournament, and they obviously did a fantastic job. The Abilene Disc Golf Association is a great crew of people. Good to catch up with them. Took home $700 for a B tier.
Hey.
Can't be mad at it. So,
Yep.
And actually, Team Dynamic Discs at that event won all of the pro fields, which was super cool. So I won Men's Pro Open. Paige Bierkus won Female Pro Open. Tony Shirley won Masters. He and I actually shot the same thing first 2 rounds. He shot 1027, 995.
Wow.
And then he didn't
He won. That's all that matters.
Yeah, the third round is just neither here nor there. And then Doug Bierkus, our event coordinator, TD of the year, he won in a playoff for his Grandmasters win. So it was a super cool weekend. We had a great time.
Nice weekend for DD.
Yep, a lot of driving, but man, we had a really fun time.
Very cool.
That was my weekend. How about yourself?
Well,
by the way, Bobby, averaging 1020, that's better than 1,000. So it's going to help some.
Thanks.
Turns out that's in your face.
Right
in your face.
Right in your face.
Face.
Okay, continue.
Well, I'm trying to remember what I did this weekend.
It was many moons ago.
It was a long time ago. No, actually, Saturday morning, I met Bobby and Rusco at the
First time. We never met before that.
Never met. Never met that early in the morning. At the distribution center.
Yep. And
we headed out west to Clover Cliff and put a little video together. We went out there because we've actually put a video together already of the front nine because that's all that used to be in. And the back nine's in now, and we wanted to go check it out. And they were Warren Harshman is the owner, and he wanted me to go out there and kind of give it a once over and maybe give some information or critiques on the course and see if there's anything that needs to be moved around. So we did that. We went and played. And, man, I'll tell you, if they do a few of the changes that we talked about, maybe a little makeover on the back nine, that place is going to be amazing.
Nice.
I mean, it's a bed and breakfast, so you can go out there and stay. It's about 30 minutes or so west of Emporia. But overall, it was a great trip. We had a lot of fun.
Really cool, yes. Really cool potential for like a destination
type.
Cool.
Even if you don't want to, I mean, I could see you making a weekend of it, staying
Sure.
in their bed and breakfast. But if you don't want to do that, just drive out there, play, stay there for about 2 or 3 hours, and head back or something like that.
It's
nice.
It's not cart friendly.
Yeah,
and it is grueling.
yes,
It's super long. The front nine is at least, and it's a good time though.
Some of the tee pads have some
much.
really beautiful scenery though.
Yeah.
Nice.
When
Cool.
you're looking at
Like
the
hole
tee pad,
one,
when
you're throwing off.
Yeah,
Hole one, you
it's
could just
just
see
really
nothing
nice.
but the Flint Hills in the background. And
Yeah.
That's so cool.
yeah, that day was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
So I was able to get some really cool drone shots that'll come across
Sweet.
in the.
And it was windy. I mean, it was
very
windy that day. So
Is it mostly open, mostly wooded? What's it kind of like?
for the most part, I would consider it a more open course. The
Okay.
back nine has a little more woods and a creek that kind of comes through it, but the back nine's a little less windy, I would say, because it's kind of
Okay.
down in like a little bowl area.
Oh, gotcha.
And but yeah, there's a couple really cool scenic shots out there.
Nice.
So
All right.
That
that was
sounds cool.
Saturday, and then Sunday I spent the whole day packing.
Oh
Yeah.
Mr. New Homeowner
'Cause
over
I
here.
just bought a house, or closed on a house. I
Dang.
guess I haven't really bought it yet. That's
Yeah.
a few years from now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
technically, but
A few years from
few
now.
years from now. Unless I design like 1,000 courses or something next year, then maybe I can pay it off.
In 1 year,
Then you'll
1,000
be
courses.
covered.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty nice.
It's doable.
No,
So anyway, so congrats
Cool, man.
on Eric and his new house. Him and Denise and
Yep.
Ralph and Sheba.
yep.
Let's see, what did I do? On Saturday I met with Eric and Jeremy.
Oh, for the first time?
Yeah, for
We
the first
went
time,
we
yeah.
went out to this new place. Don't know if you've heard about it.
No. So anyway, kind of
Spoiler alert. I'm sorry.
And then Sunday worked on some of the video stuff at home, did some stuff. So
Played
Wait,
with your
you have a new you have a new member to your
yes,
family.
I have a new member to our family. I have a Sebastian Jr.
You have a Sebastian.
a Sebastian Jr.
He's just one of many.
Yeah, he is a French bulldog, and he is today he is 9 weeks old.
No.
So we're gonna end this early and go have a birthday party. No, I'm playing.
Hope you guys have enjoyed your stay.
You guys are all invited.
No, so we've been wanting a dog for some time, and we were trying to decide which breed we wanted. We knew we wanted a pug again, maybe because we had pugs, but we looked at some shelters in around town just to see, but really decided that we wanted a smaller dog. I just like having a lap dog, as a smaller dog. So looked around and found somebody that had some French bulldogs and got a French bulldog. So really happy and excited. More excited for him to learn not to pee on the carpet. So
All I can think
Yeah.
of when I heard the name was Parks and Rec.
who was on Parks and Rec?
Sebastian the horse.
Oh yeah, Lil Sebastian.
Lil Sebastian.
Little Sebastian.
I forgot that.
Yeah, that's all I
Little
could think of when I
Sebastian.
heard it.
That's right.
So I hadn't thought of that, but I've been told that I apparently I like Little Mermaid because of Sebastian the
Oh,
Crab.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
But actually the reason I like it is because I like classical music and I like Sebastian Bach. I like his
okay.
music. So
You should have gone with Johann then, if
Oh,
you were
Johann.
really going with his
I
first
don't know
name.
if that would have been good. Like Johann, no.
Yeah.
Johann, no.
Johann, no. Yeah, Sebastian will suffice then. That's
Yeah,
fine.
so, all right, cool guys. Let's see. That's all we're going to talk about. Catching up with everybody. Appreciate it. And I guess we'll hop into the questions.
It's a really fancy way to
You
say
like that?
questions, man.
Questions. I've actually
Golly.
hadn't pulled it up yet, so we're going to pull up here on SpeakPipe. It is hot in here.
It is hot.
Is it hotter than normal, Anthony?
I think it's because you've got these lights on us.
Huh? It's the headphones.
It's the headphones and the light.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you wouldn't know how to compare.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that while you pull that up.
Oh,
We
go
went
for
and did our first Dynamic Discs day in the park.
DD Day in the park.
Yeah, we're doing that here in Emporia. The Gazette was looking for just some summer activities for kids around here, and so once a month we're just doing a really beginner-friendly clinic, a short, 9 holes of something of playing. Then we did a Ring of Fire, gave away some prizes, and we had about 30 people or so come out to the first one, which was really, really good. We honestly didn't know what to expect. Probably the youngest person who came out was 5 or 6 years old, and then we had a couple come out, Jim and Carol, who I don't want to guess wrong, but I think they were probably in their 60s, who came out to learn disc golf, and so it was super fun. We had a great time. Eric Oakley and Tina Stenitis were coming through town on their way to Worlds, so they were gracious enough to come and help us out. Paige Bierkus came out as well, and so it was really good. Anthony came and filmed a lot, so we'll have hopefully a little video put together about it.
And according to Anthony, it was 7 million degrees out.
It was very,
hot
very hot.
yesterday.
I went ahead and went with the black shirt,
Smart.
which
That
made
was
it
a good idea.
Well, it made it hotter, but also then you couldn't see that it was just sweat.
right.
Yeah. So anyway,
But it was an OGO shirt, so it was super comfortable.
so it turns out I felt good.
nice.
Super true, very comfortable. But I would have been hot in any shirt. But at least you couldn't tell as much in this one.
Nice. Well, yeah, that's actually something people ask. How do I build disc golf in my community? That's one way. The Chamber of Commerce, local businesses like that are always looking for some way to add activity to the town.
Yeah.
So reach out and tell them, hey, I want to do a day in the park of showing people how to play disc golf.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll help you advertise it and stuff
Right.
like that.
Well, and if you're looking to do something like that and just want a real basic outline of it, you can message me on Facebook or email or anything like that. We'll tell you what we did. It was really easy. I mean, almost just turnkey. And yeah, I think it went great. So
yeah. So look for that video when Anthony gets that done, and that should kind of give you an idea of how all that takes place.
If you are going to be near Emporia, our next one is going to be July 19th.
All right.
So it's coming up.
All right, guys. Now let's do the questions.
Let's.
This one is from SpeakPipe and Pipe. Why do I always do that?
I don't know.
Speed Pike.
You got
Pipe.
gymnastics on the brain?
Apparently, this one's from Jake.
from St. Louis.
I would hope so.
A cool daddy named Slick Breeze. Eric, no, it's not a nickname. It's his middle name, Emac McCabe. And Robert, who cares, McCall. I got a question for you guys. I was wondering about air plastic. So as a new player, I absolutely love light discs. Anything like 147 to 154 is my wheelhouse. I guess the question is, at that weight, or even at a little bit higher weight, am I going to get a better flight with an air disc? Is it really going to make that much different? Should I be looking for discs that come in air plastic, or just stick to lighter discs as it is? Also, I find that a lot of the air plastic seems to be the sort of higher speed drivers, so that people with slower arms can make it. Would I have more success with just a slower disc? It's a bit of a conundrum, guys. Can you help me out? Thanks much.
First off,
Those are the same sorts of things
is
that I think about when I'm in the shower.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Jake must be very a busy person.
Yeah, that's right.
He only has time to call our show
While he's
when
taking
he's
a shower.
taking a shower.
So sorry if you guys couldn't hear that,
So
guys.
strange.
My suggestion is when you record some of these, make sure that you put.
Or not in the shower.
Yeah, you're not in the
Yeah.
shower, but make sure that you record, put the microphone close to your mouth and
Loofah
record.
not in hand.
Yeah, loofah not in hand. So, but thanks for the question, Jake.
Yeah,
because
thanks,
it's a good
Jake.
question. What do you guys think?
I don't even remember the question.
Okay, you're just thinking, why is he talking to us in the shower? So
That's about air discs.
Yeah, his question was for lighter weight discs. Does it matter if it's just regular plastic or air plastic as to differences in the flight or anything like that? Not that I can think of. I've seen air. The one that I can think of is there are air rivers.
Well, the air breakout comes to mind too, because we just released or we're releasing this Friday
Yeah.
the air
Okay,
breakout.
yeah.
Not tomorrow.
Okay,
But,
I haven't thrown those yet.
or not.
It's my go-to.
That's your new
headwind
go-to.
driver.
Dang, it's very stable.
16th,
But I've seen air rivers, and then I've just seen rivers kind of in a 150 class that weren't specifically air plastic, and to me it looks like they flew about the same. So I don't think there's anything special about the air plastic that makes it any different. I think it's just the weight that really affects the flight so much.
I would tend to agree with that. I haven't had a lot of experience throwing a lot of air plastic or lightweight discs for that matter. Maybe Bobby can answer this a little bit better because I know one of his staples is the air trespass.
Absolutely. But what had happened was I had lost an air trespass. And had to find net. We didn't have any in stock, and I knew it'd be a while. So, but finally, we got some in. But I had a listener send me an air trespass.
Dude,
he had mercy on me.
What a bro!
And I had been throwing the Queen, and then a really beat in biofusion trespass because it can get in the right
more
wind.
turn.
Yeah. But I threw the air trespass for the first time, and I was like, "Oh my God, I missed you so much."
Welcome home.
And threw it last night, in fact, a few times at our bag tag.
And you played well.
And
Nice.
Scored a 64.
Dude.
And my best was a 65, so one bested my...
Good for you, though.
Well, it really made me know I had a 7.
And we played long tees.
Yeah, we played long tees. And I had a 7 on a hole that I just had messed up really
Was
bad.
it 17?
That's what I would assume.
Well, that's a par 5.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that's not that bad.
I 5'd it. I almost aced your truck yesterday on accident.
Nice, thanks.
And I'm sorry.
You really would have been 1,000 rated.
Yeah.
In the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the
Sorry
face.
about that. A guy on my card got a 10 on that hole last night.
Ouch. So anyway, air trespass is something that if there's a disc that is flying okay, for me it's like the trespass flies okay for me, but in my mind I thought if it would just turn a little bit more, and that's what made me try the air trespass. Now I will tell you that you can get in trouble with the air because I was throwing the Renegade, and that's one that I can throw pretty good, and I tried the air Renegade, and that's just too flippy.
Okay.
So it's not like the
Maybe
air
different
is
mold to
automatic.
mold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the air isn't
Absolutely.
automatically the answer to what
Right.
you're trying
And
to
to be
achieve.
fair, you're comparing an air trespass to your bio,
Right.
And your bio is probably 70, maybe 68, something in there.
I'm guessing around that, yeah.
Okay.
So, and then I've tried an air escape, and that actually flies pretty good for me, an
Nice.
air escape. And then I tried an air enforcer. That doesn't really
Super beef.
do.
Yeah, they're stable.
It didn't really work for me. So, it's just like anything. It's if it might make sense, but the way is to grab one and throw it.
Yep.
Now,
I agree.
I know you guys say, "Oh, you just want us to buy stuff." Well, yes,
Yeah,
I
go
do.
to a buyback program.
But yeah, buyback program. There you
Hey,
go.
Frodo.
Find a buyback retailer, or if you know of an RV that's going to be there. A lot of times they have a lot of test drive
Testers.
stuff. So
Speaking of which, when I was cleaning out my garage, I found an original run air trespass, and I'll give it to you.
thank you.
Dude, that was legitimate excitement. No acting
yeah.
for the show. Like he was really excited.
That
He
would
had
be
no
so
idea I was going to say that.
No, I didn't. That was not scripted.
That's awesome, dude.
Actually, it wasn't. But are you playing the Trilogy Challenge
Sunday.
on Sunday?
Yes.
Can I buy your deputy?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
As long as I don't throw it in a river again.
Yeah. Can I have yours too?
Okay.
Okay. Sweet. Anyway, all right, let's move to the next question. Next one is from Rob.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer, guys. Thanks for taking the time to answer my question. Thank you for everything that you do for the sport. I've got something, and I'm not sure if you guys have covered it before. I only just recently started listening to your guys' podcast, but I think it's something that's important and should be discussed again if it hasn't been already. So I've been playing tournaments for about 2 years, and I find that during my regular rounds, I'm able to make concise shots and stay pretty consistent. But during tournament rounds, I seem to get into my head. I make a small mistake, and it seems to compound itself all the way through the round. And I'm wondering if you guys have any advice on what you do during a round or what I could possibly do during a tournament that would help to keep myself out of my own head and help mitigate those extra strokes due to my frustration and constant expectation of being perfect. Any advice you guys could give would be great. Thanks again for everything you do.
Awesome.
How do you, if you have a bad hole, what is your go-to like thought process, or how do you get out of your own head?
Yeah, this is a really hard one because
it's not something you could just teach,
right?
I mean, you have a couple tricks that I could tell you that I do.
Sure.
But it's really, to me, for this question, I guess for me, it's really all about staying in the moment.
Yeah.
And having a short memory.
Yep.
And let's face it, Bobby took a 7 last night on, it was a par 5, but it was still, he wasn't happy with it.
It's because I went OB.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that, was like, if
For
I hadn't
sure.
gone OB, I
And
would at least
then-
have got maybe a 6 or a 5.
And he still, Bobby took a 7 on a hole last night, and he still had his best round on the course.
Mm-hmm.
So all that tells me is that, boom, he had a bad hole, but he was able to work through that, stay, at the shot at hand, and have a short memory and not even remember what happened. You can't control the past. All you can do is control what's in front of you and play it shot for shot.
Yep.
That's really all you can do in that
I
situation.
think one of the
100%.
biggest mind games or mental things that I've learned from Eric is that when your shot is done, now you say, and then when you're standing at the tee pad, you're like, okay, now this shot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that that's drilled into me is I'm having fun on the card. Like I had Corey. Corey's obviously a good player.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple. One guy that was probably, I can't remember. He was a little worse than I am. But some of the other guys were. They're all the
You had
others.
Kevin
were,
as well, right?
Yes, Kevin.
you had a really good
Yeah,
card.
he's a good card.
They can play golf. Yeah.
I don't compete against them. I'm competing against myself.
Right.
And what's good is you play a course that you
Even better, take it to the next step is you're competing against a course. You don't want to say you're
The course,
competing
that's good,
against
yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
because you can be your own worst enemy, and that's
True,
not right.
yeah. But I can remember. So in other words, I look at a hole and I think, okay, I know what I got on this. I know where I've thrown before, and I know what really worked. So that's what I'm going to throw. Rather than if some people are in a tournament setting, they're thinking, oh, he got a 3 and I got a 4. Oh my gosh, you got it. It's all a mental thing that you just got to. It takes practice, and you got to tell yourself over and over again. What's the next hole, and that's what I'm worried about.
And a lot of that actually, I witnessed it when last night at home we were watching the Jomez coverage of Beaver State Fling of the women.
Yeah.
And I think it was the 3rd round, front 9. Val throws a shot on, I would say, my least favorite hole at Milo and parks it. It's hole 5, I believe, is the number. Downhill, weird. A lot of the guys throw forehand rollers.
Oh yeah.
But she parked it. She put it like 5 feet from the pin. And Paige clips an early tree and kicks deep in the woods. And then she pitches out. And then she throws an approach. And then she lays up. She was still further out putting her 5 than Val was putting her 2. And, she just lost 3 strokes to Val on that one hole, on a under 300-foot hole. And she gave knucks. She gave props to Val and moved on to the next hole. And
That's because she's a true competitor.
exactly, but that's what you have to.
Yeah.
That's the mindset you have to have. You know,
and you don't want to lose 3 strokes to Val.
No.
to anybody for
Well,
that
to
matter.
anybody, but
especially
to
not
Val.
Val.
Yeah, for sure.
And so a quick bias plug. If you guys haven't watched Beaver State Fling,
Oh, yeah.
Jomez does a really good job. And of course, you got to watch Paige Pierce. She just
Dominated.
so, somebody said something that I thought really was poignant is that, it's enjoyable to watch Ricky and Paul Macbeth and these Simon Lizotte and these big
Sure.
guns, right? It's awesome to watch that.
Oh yeah, because they're at
But-
the top of the game.
Right, but for the average player to watch the decisions that Paige makes and Katrina makes as far as shot placement, it relates to me a lot more. And that's why I enjoy watching the women's, because when they throw, now obviously Paige and Katrina throw much farther than me, but you know what I'm saying? It seems more relatable to me because
Yeah.
that's really closer to what I can achieve when it's the watching them. So anyway.
Absolutely. I like watching them because they are aware of their skill set and play to that skill set.
Right.
Right. Like Paige can throw farther than honestly most people,
Right.
right? But some of the women are throwing about like a lot of people are. And you see what kind of scores they put together because they're aware of their game. That's one of the big differences between a top female player and like an advanced to intermediate guy who might be throwing around the same distance, is that they know their game inside and out and they just don't make that many mistakes.
Or not throwing, or not throwing as far as some of those guys that you mentioned, but the approach game, the short game.
They know where to pay attention to, yeah, for sure. So on the mental side of things for me, I had knee surgery in 2014, and before that had gotten up to 1,000 rated. And the reason that I got there was I can't throw that far. I'm a pretty good putter. I throw approach as well. But I got to where my mental game was really strong, where make a mistake, next hole, who cares? Playing well, don't let it get in my head, things like that. And then I had knee surgery on my right knee, and it was like a reset. Like I've had to relearn how to be mentally strong on the course, and it's super tough. Like that's one of the reasons I love disc golf is it's a constant mental battle. Like you can be playing great and sabotage yourself because you start thinking about too many things or the wrong things or anything like that. So after I've had a bad hole, in general, I just try to limit my thoughts on the course. So I try and narrow my focus for the 15 or 20 seconds that I take throwing each shot. And once I've thrown that shot, let my mind breathe some, think about something else. I usually have a song running through my head, let that run through a little bit. I don't think about where the shot landed. I don't think about the implications of that. I just walk up, and then when I'm ready to throw, then I narrow my focus again. And yeah, so say I take a bogey, I walk onto the next tee, and then I think the exact same thing that I've thought on all the tee shots before, which is just what's my target. That's the only thought that's in my head. And then I execute. Well, or at least try to execute.
All right, next one is from Joey. This one's from our submitted question form. Hey, Bobby, Eric, and Robert. My question is mostly for Eric. At work, we really like disc golf and play it daily. I'm wanting to make a more distinct course than the random 12 baskets we have set up around campus. My question is this: how much area do you need for a pretty short 250 to 300 foot max 9-hole course?
What, 1,800 feet?
Right.
Very
straight lines right next to one another. Don't throw off line.
Yeah, no. It can vary. A lot of people think 1 to 2 acres per hole is
pretty ideal.
Pretty ideal, I would say. I'd like to think for a championship level course, you want to have on average a couple, but you can absolutely put in a shorter course with 1 acre per hole, and and that's the average, obviously. So you maybe have a couple more, a couple smaller, but if you've got the room, I would say I would rather see a little bit stretched out 9-hole course than a shorter, compact 12-hole course. So what I would recommend is stretching out the 9 holes and making it a little bit more of a challenge, and maybe even throwing in a couple tees on each hole so you can play it as an 18 if you want.
Yeah,
shorts and longs.
100%.
Awesome. Next one is Andrew. Hey guys, just wanted to say I love the show. A couple months ago, my local course had around 100 trees removed. Some holes still have the logs from the tree sitting in the fairway. If my discs were to land next to it, could I move it just as if it were a pine cone or a stick? Thanks for the help.
If you're the Incredible Hulk.
No, that was Colossus. My bad.
Oh. If it's dead and unattached,
that's the rule.
You can absolutely move it.
Dead and unattached. And it has to be in your direct lie.
In your lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't move it if
it's just a little in front of you and you're like, I don't really want to mess with that. Yeah.
Has to be in your lie.
Yep.
So what if it's a log and it's
log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
What was that? Was that from
That's
Ren and
Stimpy?
Yeah. No, okay, so let's say this scenario. There's a log in front of me, but it's like not impeding upon my foot being next to my lie, right?
Right.
But there's a branch that's in front of my swing.
If it's in your swing.
If it's in your swing, because it's dead, I can move it.
If it's on the same, yeah.
Okay.
What you can't do is if you're trying to throw a jump putt and there's a couple boulders in front of you,
right?
You can't move those.
Yeah. I had one
Can
happen.
you jump off the boulder?
Sure.
No.
Of course.
if you want.
I had one happen at a tournament where my disc landed directly in front of a downed tree. And I was inside the circle, maybe right outside the circle. But, I mean, it was very, very obviously dead and unattached. And my card mates and I just moved it back.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to put my foot anywhere. Moved it back. I actually made the putt, and then we just moved it back where it was.
Oh, okay. You didn't have to move it back.
We didn't, but it felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
This one's from Adam. A few episodes ago, someone asked about your thoughts were about Worlds being at the same course every year. No one really liked the idea, me including, but it had me thinking about having Worlds outside of the U.S. Considering we have USDGC and it is called Worlds.
Considering we have the U.S. Disc Golf Championship and Worlds is called Worlds, is what he's saying.
Oh, I gotcha. Why not have it in another country, or has this happened before?
Never happened before. I'm all for it. Logistically, I don't know if it's possible just yet. Because it's getting closer, but when you look at a tournament like the European Open, which arguably is, just as, I don't know, the title to me is not as, it doesn't hold as much water, I suppose, as a world champion versus a European, or even a U.S. champion.
Yeah.
But where am I going with that? Oh, yeah. There's not a whole lot of Americans that travel over there. I mean, less than 30,
right?
Probably. Maybe around that nowadays. But just logistically, it's going to be tough. Now, I do know our neighbors to the north are looking at adding a bunch of big championship courses and potentially hosting it up there, which I would absolutely love to see that happen. World championships overseas, I think that'd be cool.
Yep.
I'd be all for it.
Yep. I mean, it would put us at the same current disadvantage that European or, Asian or anybody who doesn't live in North America.
Yep.
Give them the same, difficulty of having to compete if they want to.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The thing is that trying to find it on here. I know that they did something about it.
They did a poll, I think it was, on it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Would you attend a World Championships?
Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for, but that's obviously.
I don't know if I
relevant.
ever saw the results from that.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is that I get that we want to grow the sport and stuff like that, so don't misunderstand this. But I think one of the reasons, like what you guys said, is the reason it's not outside of the U.S. is because the logistics of getting people over there. And it's like, the thing is that when you look at the demographics, and I can't seem to find it, the majority of disc golfers registered at PDGA are in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the highest rated players are in the United States.
Right, and I understand that some of these sports are growing by some of these countries. It's growing by leaps and bounds. I get that, but it just can't. And I'm not like all touting like USA is better. But what I'm saying is that at the current state right now, there's more USA players than any other country, which would seem to bode why it's always in the U.S.
PDGA is located here.
Yes.
Right.
So
one day I think we could see it. But if you think about it too, the European Open, the Scandinavian Open, when it happened, those are still major events.
Yeah, and they're called majors. They're touted as such.
PDGA major events. So,
all right, next question is from Dylan.
Hello, Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, Eric Best Disc in the Game McCabe, and Robert McCall. I have kind of a three-part question. So I have a Witness in my bag. That's my favorite disc in my entire bag. I noticed a couple weeks ago you mentioned that you can outgrow discs. So do you consider a Witness to be a beginner's level disc? If so, what's a good disc that you could replace it with once you outgrow it? Also, do you know of any pros that throw the Witness?
okay.
Thank you.
So this is interesting because I can't remember if I found it on our Facebook group or somewhere, but someone actually said, no, I don't agree that you can outgrow discs and stuff like that. I can't remember. Maybe
That's
I can find
fine.
it on YouTube, which is fine.
You're welcome to disagree.
It's
but we'll disagree with you.
You're completely wrong,
Right.
But
So to your question, Dylan, can you outgrow a Witness? I believe you can. So a lot of times when people say, they'll come up to me, hey, what's a good beginner disc? A Witness is going to be one of those
It's a great one.
because of its understability, is much more forgiving to a person that just started out throwing.
yeah, and I think when we say can you outgrow a disc, I'm talking about a beginner picking up a disc and trying it
Right.
and outgrowing it. I'm not
Right.
talking about me picking up an enforcer and outgrowing that enforcer.
Right.
You know,
Well, I mean, if it got beat up enough, it could be where it didn't have as much
but
utility for
you're
you.
not outgrowing.
That's not the mold.
Right.
I'm
Right,
talking about
right.
outgrowing a mold.
Right. Okay. True.
So
And
but I think what the guy's argument was like he tells people to start out with the regular, or just start out with a disc and learn to play better. Which I don't think. I guess that's one philosophy, but it doesn't make. I mean, I wouldn't tell someone if someone started and I've been playing for about 2-3 weeks. I just throw my buddies. I wouldn't hand them an enforcer or a trespasser or a defender.
No.
And
I'd
say,
hand him a
okay,
mid-range or
okay,
a putter
yeah,
first.
and say, okay, go learn these now, because he's going to get frustrated.
Right.
I don't want him to adjust to the mold. I want his form to get better.
exactly. That's how you create bad habits.
Yeah.
Is by
trying to force
starting
things,
out with
yeah.
a defender or something like that. And then of course you're never going to be able to throw like a witness or a renegade or a touch disc.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of times on Facebook you see people will say, "Hey, what throws like a blank or whatever?" And someone suggests, and they're like, "What?"
Yeah,
And
some
it's
of
like,
those
because your
suggestions
form
are
is
different.
crazy.
Yeah.
Your form is different or way off. Or,
I saw somebody also say that they flip over their criminal.
You might want to get that looked at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not possible. I mean, wow.
So
Take two anti-steroid pills and call me in the morning.
To Dylan's question, though, I would, for my style, witness something I outgrew. I eventually grabbed
See?
like a thief.
You used to throw a witness,
Yeah,
right?
and
then
now it's
it just starts to be more understable.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it could be a roller for you if you wanted.
Yeah.
One of the guys I played with last night rolled a witness.
I need to learn a roller because I don't have a roller in my
Sure.
back. But I mean, that's the thing, is that it became to where I didn't like throwing it because it was too understable and it kept turning too much.
Right.
You created more arm speed.
Right. So-
Because you learn to throw properly
Right.
with a disc that'll teach you more flaws. That's why throwing such an overstable disc to start is a bad way to start, because that overstability will mask a lot of your form flaws. You can wobble it way offline and it'll still come back because it's very, very overstable. But yeah, learning to throw it smooth, that's very, very important.
So I would check out a thief, and then maybe even up to a renegade. For the
I would
next
say a
step.
renegade is another good one as well. It's going to be, man, I love the renegade.
Yeah.
It's such a great disc.
It really is.
Next one's from Zach the Stash.
Ooh. Like mustache?
What's going on, Bobby? Cool Daddy, Slick Breeze,
He just ate the
Eric,
microphone.
Emac McCabe, and Robert MC McCall.
Okay, well, I've
Okay.
heard
MC
worse.
because he's a great MC and was at GBO. Anyways, Eric, I just got done watching your In the Bag video, which brings me to my question. I notice you throw defenders and enforcers like a lot of pros, but I was just curious, what is the main difference between those two discs? I know they both are overstable. They're both pretty overstable, but I personally only bag defenders because I've found some defenders that are very overstable that just use the slot of the enforcer. So I'm curious as to how you decide whether to throw your slightly straight enforcer as opposed to your slightly straight defender. So if you could answer my question, that'd be great. All right, you guys have a great day, and let's go Pens.
Threw that in at
Hockey.
the last minute. So yeah, but real quick
Didn't they
before you
win?
answer,
I think so.
Before you answer, Eric, yes, a lot of you have been asking. It's taken us a long time, but we finally were able to put together an In the Bag for Eric McCabe. Anthony did a great job editing that together. So
Nice.
you can go to youtube.com/dynamic discs, or if you happen to follow Eric, you should have seen it as well on YouTube. So check that out. It's a really good In the Bag.
We gonna do some in the bag soon, Bobby?
No.
Monkey Island.
Yeah, we don't need to know.
So to his question, Eric.
It's a great question, and it's probably the top second question I've got from that In the Bag.
really?
Yeah,
Nice.
a lot of people ask that question. It's true. The two discs are very similar to each other. I do have a couple defenders in the bag that tend to be just about as overstable as the enforcer is, but I like to keep at least one just brand new super beef enforcer in because I know it's not going to turn over. I know what it's going to do, and it doesn't come out of the bag too often. It'll come out if there's a more of a headwind, or if I need a big skip.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed the enforcer gets a little bit more skip out of the finish than the defender does. So that's kind of when I choose that overstable side of it as opposed to a defender. But I mean, On the other side, I'll also just go out and throw defenders all day.
Right.
You know, it just kind of depends on the mood, how I'm feeling. But as far as the bios go, my straighter enforcers, I love that disc.
Yeah, you've had it for forever.
I've had it since it came out, since those discs came out. And what I use it for is more if I need to get more straighter distance or more controlled distance. Mm-hmm. For example, hole 13 at Jones East.
Yep.
OB on the left, there's OB on the right, and it's probably, 130 feet maybe wide?
Yeah.
Roughly. Maybe not even that much.
Yeah, but put it a little offline, you can be in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. But with this, like when I went to Vegas this year, there was a lot of fairway holes where you had to keep it straight but had to get distance. So I was breaking out that in Bio Enforcer a lot. So that disc, I know I can just rip into, and it's going to fly relatively straight with a slight fade at the end. Not a whole lot, but I can just get controlled distance out of it. It's familiar, so I love that part of it. The Defender, I pretty much will throw into slight headwinds, or if it's anything I just need to absolutely rip on.
Yep.
Knowing it's going to fly straight with a pretty decent stable finish. Now I do have a pretty beat Enforcer that's in the bag, but Defender, but it's pretty much only comes out for like say forehands or
like a hyzer flip or something.
Yeah,
like
a
that.
hyzer flip, because it's a little. I mean, it's not as old as my Bio Enforcer, but it's slightly more understable.
Yeah.
So if I need to like a big turnover shot, I can throw that one, or a nice forehand shot.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's complicated.
is.
It's a little.
Your
complicated,
relationship
but
is so complicated.
It is, but I mean, it's
honestly what feels
It
good to you.
works.
Like there's
Can't lie.
plenty
Or
of
can't
holes out
argue
there
with
where
that.
you could throw either Defender or Enforcer, and honestly, it's just whichever one feels more confident in your hand.
I mean, another thing, I get a little bit more distance out of my Defenders than I
Right.
do my Enforcer. So if it's something that I just can rip on, but I don't want to get the extra added 30, 40 feet of distance, that's when I'll throw the Enforcer.
Yeah, that's one of the differentiators for me between the two as well.
So by the time you guys listen to this, I will have uploaded on Friday morning. By that time, you probably have already watched Ricky Wysocki and Paul Macbeth battle it out.
I hope so.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. No. So if you haven't, make sure you go to YouTube and search for Central Coast.
First,
Disc
climb
Golf.
out from under the rock.
Yeah. And watch that because it was amazing. So, but I wanted to kind of talk briefly about it because I watched a little bit of it and that was intense.
It's like last year,
Yeah.
or the year before, one of those, when those two just battled.
Yeah.
Like, this is the third year in a row that the Beaver State Fling has ended in a playoff.
I think that's right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and
Paul was in all of them, was he?
yeah, at least two.
Yeah.
No, I guess it would have been three because he and Will were
Will
2015.
Yep.
And then he and who was it last year? I don't remember.
I don't know. I think it was. I want to say him and Ricky. Well, no. Well, him and Ricky battled there at Worlds.
Yeah,
they
right.
had the big, the famous playoff.
Right. Yeah, one of the interesting things about that playoff is that, or the holes leading up to the playoff. So on 16, both Paul and Ricky make great putts for three. Paul's more difficult than Ricky's. I mean, a sweet little, it's like an uphill kind of turnover putt up to a green with some wood chips underneath.
That if you miss, it's going to roll back to you.
Guaranteed. And so really, really good, difficult putt. Ricky's a little bit closer than that, but still probably circles edge. And I mean, he's good.
Ricky does what Ricky does.
Yeah, so he jams it. Then hole 17, the mistakes that you can't make are being short or left on that hole. Ricky tries to play a wide hyzer out, catches something on the right, and drops to the left, and ends up getting a 4.
But I will say
He threw a fantastic second
that was
shot.
the most disgusting forehand
it was beautiful.
putter and hyzer shot I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
I'm shocked that he missed the putt because usually he just goes and makes that.
At least he missed it high.
Yeah, that's right. He gave it a chance.
Yeah.
And then Macbeth did get around the corner, but was pretty far away for his putt. So Ricky gave one up on 17.
I thought Paul
it was
gonna
over.
Make the putt. I thought Paul was going to make his putt.
Yeah, and then it's a 2-stroke swing, and it's for sure over. But then 18, Paul puts himself kind of in a bad spot behind a group of trees where he has to throw a little putter roller. And it just came out of his hand really weird. Did you see?
I didn't see it too well. But
It's like he just popped it right on the ground instead of letting it air even a little bit, and it just didn't fly very far. And yeah, so then he got up to his putt and missed a putt that he makes almost all the time, probably outside the circle. Ricky
It was right
almost,
on the circle, I think.
Yeah, Ricky almost jammed like a, I don't know, 60, 70 footer from the trees.
He was running it down.
Yeah, in typical Ricky fashion. But yeah, then they go to a playoff, and then couple of regular old threes on hole one.
Yeah.
And then
both threw awful shots on one.
Yeah, they really weren't. I mean, I've never played out there, but that looks like a really difficult tee shot to pin.
Really the one spot you don't want to err.
Is long left.
Is you don't want it to come out. You want to throw a disc that's going to hold that line.
Right. But then hole two, Paul goes with a big turnover, and it's like it looks like a really tough, accessible, like a really tough green to access.
It is. I got to be honest. There's a lot of luck involved on that shot that they both threw.
Sure.
There's a lot of trees you got to miss.
And Paul missed
there's the side of a hill.
Yeah.
You got to not come in at an angle on.
Paul missed all the trees, which I feel like that doesn't happen on that hole very much. But he missed all of them and goes a little bit long. But he's at least on the same level as the basket. Ricky
but staring at death.
Yes, it's if he misses, if he airballs, guaranteed roll away, no chance of making it. Even if he hits the basket, maybe. And Ricky throws a really good shot. I don't know, 20, 25.
Uphill.
Yep, and
he's on the right side, the correct side of the basket.
Right. Yeah, so he could be a little bit more aggressive.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Paul ran it from what looked like about 40 to me.
I thought they said it was like 35 to 40.
Okay, that sounds
like
about right.
So, but I'm surprised he missed it.
Me too. I thought he was going to make it. Yeah. But then, yeah, Ricky was right there, dropped it in, and it was a fantastic playoff. And that's what Ricky does so well is he never counts himself out of it. Because look earlier in the round on what's the genius hole? Hole 9. Ricky jams like a, I don't know, 70 or 80 footer for an eagle 2.
Disgusting.
Sick. Yeah. Then hole 14 or 15, the one that's up on the mound, Ricky's probably 60 out there, maybe 70.
15.
Okay, yeah, 15. I thought you said 15 feet. I was like, I know it was longer than that.
No, 15.
Yeah, hole 15 up to the mound. I mean, just another 60, 70 footer. If he misses that, easy roll away. And so like, he never counts himself out and has gotten his putt so good that he can be that aggressive.
Yeah.
That was fun to watch.
Think about it. On a hole like that, absolutely Ricky should run that putt because it's coming down the stretch.
Right.
You know, he's in striking distance. And if he misses, I mean, what, he's going to be 20?
Right, of course.
That's like a 10-footer for me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're going to make it.
Yeah, he's always making that.
Yeah.
It's just it's so fun to watch him be really aggressive and then make putts too. Because I can be aggressive all day, but most of the time that doesn't work very well. So yeah, it was a sweet tournament. Go check it out.
Yeah. So another covers that we talked about earlier is watching the women's play, and of course watching Paige dominate. I think someone pointed out
she won by 18.
Yeah, 18 strokes. And someone pointed out that if she had played in the Open, she would have got top 20 finish.
Yeah,
which is amazing, and that she averaged over 1,000 rated rounds for the tournament.
To be fair, it was different courses at different times. Well, maybe the same time, but it was separate courses.
Okay.
Yeah. But still, I'm not. Still, she averaged over 10-20.
So tell us.
She didn't average over 10-20.
She didn't?
No, it was like 10-08 to 10-12, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So tell me any holes or any particular shots that really kind of stood out for you guys.
What Paige did really well was not make the mistake that you can't make on a hole, right? So, if there's trees wide to the right and space out to the left, she was always finding the left grass every single time.
A couple lucky shots in there,
dude. The one to the little island,
hole 10.
Holy yeah! I haven't played that hole. Tell them about that one.
God, that hole is
which course?
I don't know.
Oh,
Milo.
Oh, okay.
One of the east or wests. I don't really know.
Yeah,
do you
right.
know? East. Okay, Milo East, hole 10. It's a 500.
No,
is it 5?
I thought it was right around 410, something like that.
It's not 4.
Okay, so it's somewhere in between 4 and 500.
If it's 400, everybody in that pro division's going for it because they would blast the green.
That's a good point.
It's a mash, and it's road all down your right side. That's OB, road and beyond. And tall pines all down the right side as well.
We're talking about different holes, so go ahead.
Okay, yeah. You're talking about the 4. Yeah, I know what one you're talking about. That one's not as impressive to me. Paige should do that every time she plays it.
Yeah, she's good.
This hole, she threw her bio defender, I believe.
Yeah.
and mashed it flat, and it just started to turn right and just started going dead straight down the road, like the right side of the road. And I'm thinking this whole time,
That's OB.
uh-oh.
Yep.
And if I threw that shot, mentally, I would be thinking, that's OB. There's no way I'm going to have to re-tee or throw from 20 feet off the tee.
Right.
And that's not what you want to do on a hole like
No.
this. But she came in, and it started to hyzer. It hit, mid right side of the road.
Yeah.
I think it may have even skipped twice, hit the curb, and then kind of like crawled over the curb.
Popped over.
She had a jump putt at that hole.
Yeah.
I mean-
okay, and you're right. That is like 5 something.
Yes. Yeah, that's just, oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
that was the turning point, in my opinion, to help really push forward.
And then she putted really well too. She made some several right at circle's edge, maybe a little bit outside. Just really solid putts.
Yeah.
So her putting stroke looks good, and
Yep.
yeah, she played really well.
And that was for her. For the overall shots of the weekend that I didn't get to watch much of the men's. I didn't actually watch hardly any of that coverage, a little bit of it, but I did watch all the Jomez, the women's that he put out. But one of the shots that sticks to my mind, seeing as how I've played these courses before, was Anthony Barella's shot
Which?
on the Genius hole.
Oh yeah, unreal.
I mean, it's a par 4, and it's out of a tight gap that you have to. I mean, for me, I have to throw a hyzer flip with something relatively understable that's going to hold that right line and get more distance out of it. Perfect shot for me puts me 80.
Right.
80 from
It's
the
like
pin,
585,
maybe?
I think, but
yeah.
pretty
But
downhill.
But
Yeah.
downhill. Puts me about 80 short of the pin with a nice jumper. He puts it 15.
Yeah, it just
Like,
go watch that coverage.
oh
It
my
is
gosh.
unbelievable.
He's 17 years old.
Yeah, he's a freak.
He's like a taller Paul Macbeth.
yeah, he is. He's a really good player. Definitely
Yeah.
one to watch out for.
Yeah,
But
he's the future
yeah, but shout out to Central Coast Disc Golf and Jomez for covering those
in the rain.
Yeah, that's not fun stuff. And then Paige and Madison did commentary
Yep, I thought
on
they
the
did good.
Jomez stuff, and then Central Coast guys, Ian and Johnny Disc Golf and Alex, I think was the other one. Just really, really cool vibe they bring to it. So go and check that out. That was
something
fun to
I would
watch.
like to say. I mean, I'm not trying to knock the event by any means, but something I've always thought going and playing this event and spectating it, watching whatever. I wish that they would replace those tee pads. I mean, there's so many of those tees that are
And
just
baskets, honestly.
ice. Yeah, the baskets could use replacement too. And if you guys want a good discount, you can hit us up at Course
That's right, CourseSales.com.
We'll get you some nice, beautiful red veterans. But
Veterans.
but even if you replace them with new disc catchers, I'm perfectly fine with that. But I honestly feel those need replaced, and the tee pads especially need replaced.
Yep.
Just start with like 6 a year maybe, or go to the ones that are the most slick. And it's tough. I know it's tough. I get that, and it's always wet out there, so they're gonna be difficult. But there's a couple holes that are in the woods that have been slick since I've been going to this tournament. So that's kind of my gripe for the day, I guess. I'd love to see them replace those tees.
All right, so one thing I mentioned earlier is the Beadle. This is Latitude 64. It's kind of like a catch disc, although it is PDGA approved, so you could use it if you want to. It's pretty flippy, but it's
Bet you won't.
I won't.
I also won't.
You're right.
It's very
I win. Yes.
a very flexible plastic. It is it's called Spill Line, and it's I mean, it looks like a fun. I mean, it is a fun.
They fly
toss
great
disc.
just tossing around.
Just
They're
tossing
awesome.
it around.
It would
so-
be fun to do like a Hammond Park challenge with it.
Oh yeah,
I'd be down with that.
I'd also be down with that.
Hammond and the Beetle. This one actually weighs.
Whoa, that's kind of a cool band.
I was
name.
going to say,
Hammond and the Beetle. Yeah.
whenever we make it big time, that'll be us.
This one it comes in at 142 grams, so very nice and lightweight.
Yeah, most of them I don't think there's too many that are much heavier than 50.
No. Yep.
Yeah, so I have this one that we tossed around for a live new release video, I think. So it's only been thrown probably 8 or 9 times, so it's in perfect.
I didn't even know it's been thrown looking at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I want to give this away to our listeners as a sorry for waiting until Friday to put the episode out. But what you need to do is you need to go to, some of you know by the secret episodes, is that you go to discgolfanswerman.com/subscriber, put in the secret word Beetlejuice.
Ooh, I thought we were going to go with Bobby's Beadle.
No. We'll go with Beetlejuice. So
All
you
right.
got to put
Just don't say it 3 times.
Yeah.
Don't.
You got to put it. You got to go to the form, fill out, just put your name, your email address, so I can get a hold of you, and then put the secret word Beetlejuice. You have until, listen carefully, June 19th at 8 a.m. That's where I'm cutting it off. So if you happen to listen to this after the weekend, I'm sorry. You should have your notifications turned on. You should be listening to Disc Golf Answer Man as soon as it gets out. So 8 a.m. June 19th, I will stop the cut off the form, and then I will announce the winner, and I'll reach out to that winner and send out the Beadle to you.
Sweet.
How many of our younger listeners have no idea who Beetlejuice
Probably,
is?
yeah. They probably have no idea.
Or Michael Keaton, for that matter, being the best Batman.
True.
Whoa.
Debate.
Well, Adam West, the original.
Yeah,
Debate.
he's all right. That's not... I don't know.
All right, next one's for Mikey. Next one's not for Mikey. What you got for us, Mikey?
Is it Mikey Keaton?
Oh, looks like some technical difficulty with Mikey. Sorry about that, Mikey.
Sorry, Mikey. Try again.
Try again. This one's from Boo.
What up, Boo?
Guaranteed funk intro.
Maybe it's Bobby's technical difficulty.
Maybe it's my technical difficulties. Let's try something. Now we go back
Is
to
it going to
Mikey.
explode into my ears?
What is up, Disc Golf Answer
There
Man
we go.
crew?
My fault.
Bobby, buying Robert Lunch Brown,
Never.
Eric Cantina
Yeah,
McCabe,
yeah,
and Robert the Warden Wrangler McCall.
My man.
Hope you guys are doing well. I have 2 quick questions for you. My first question is in regards to a new bag that I think you guys have coming out. I know Bobby posted a video of like a sneak peek of a new backpack. Just wondering if you guys had any more info about it, the price range, the features, and the date it's expected to be released for purchase. I currently have all Trilogy discs, but I have an Innova backpack, and it just feels like I'm betraying you guys. I can't do that. So just curious about that new bag. Second question is, have you guys ever considered making a junior-size disc golf bag? I love that you have these new junior discs available for smaller hands, the younger generation for disc golf, which is really cool. But just want to know if you had any ideas for a junior size bag in the works that'll be coming out so they can put their little adorable discs inside of and play some awesome rounds of disc golf. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your amazing podcast. And as always, keep it real.
All right, thanks, Mikey.
I like Mikey.
Mikey's a good guy.
That's right. I'm glad his question worked. Gosh.
Yeah,
That would have been awful if we couldn't answer that.
So what he's talking about, guys, is on our YouTube channel. We have a series called After Hours at the Warehouse, and that's where I have a little bit of fun telling you guys about new stuff that's coming out. In the latest episode,
And getting in trouble sometimes.
Yeah.
showing stuff that maybe I shouldn't have shown
Yeah.
so quickly.
Sorry.
And playing with stuff that's on people's desks and stuff like that. What did you think when you saw that? Did you see that episode?
Yeah.
What did you think when you saw
I thought it was funny.
I was playing with Eric's
Bobbleheads.
bobbleheads he has on his desk. Anyway, what he's talking about, guys, is the new Trooper that will be coming out. Do we even know a date? Or
We don't have a release date right now.
Okay, we don't have a release date. It's the Trooper. It's going to be a very what would be the word?
It's a great value on a disc golf
Great
bag.
value on a disc golf bag from OGO.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
of course us, Dynamic Disc. So you know it's going to be
Do
good
we have
quality.
a price point out there yet? I know what we're thinking.
I don't think we have anything out yet, so we're gonna. I don't know if it's been announced or talked about. So
Under $100. We can say that.
most
I
definitely.
I
under
think it's going to be
$100.
under 50.
Possibly. Yeah.
Possibly.
There's a
I
chance.
believe that there is. But
Yeah.
I mean, I said under 100.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I said something else under it.
that's true.
So we don't want to
That
say
is a
because it's still kind of in the mass production prototype. Well, I guess it's end of the prototype phase now. I believe it's in the mass production stage. So we want to make sure we don't say the prices that we're thinking about until the guys upstairs
Or
know
when.
all that stuff or when
they're going to be. I mean,
but
soon? Is soon a good enough answer?
Soonish. That's like the go-to
That's my
answer.
go-to.
2018?
Soonish.
Ish. Oh,
Or 17, I mean? 2017?
I believe, yeah. I believe so. Now, I don't know. So anyway, it's just kind of, if you want a lightweight, super simple bag, if it's just for a beginner that doesn't quite want to invest a lot of money into a backpack style bag, perfect for you.
It's great.
If you have a nice Ranger bag, a Latitude E3 or, any of those, but you just need something that you can just throw a few discs
kick around
in,
one.
but still have a lot of storage
There's
space.
still a lot of room for discs too.
Boom.
I mean, it's,
Yeah.
So
I think people are going to be impressed with how many discs you can hold in that
Right.
bag. It's going to be a really good value.
and it's just something that we needed for our product line to kind of have something for everybody.
Yep.
Right.
I dig it.
Now to the junior size bag, I've got my opinion on it.
Well, it's your show, Bobby.
Well, let's
this
hear
is
it.
this is your world. We're
It's
just
not
living
my
in
show.
it.
It's our show.
Bobby, cool, Daddy Slick Breeze.
Do it in like your super deep. Hold on, let me turn up the bass.
Okay,
Hold on, wait. Okay, go.
I want to. I'm on number 3.
Alrighty then.
That was me.
I want to welcome you.
Oh, I
to-
turned off the bass already.
Welcome to
Oh.
Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze's world, where we hear all the opinions from Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
Sorry if that ruined your speakers, guys.
Also,
Or your day.
yeah. Also, sorry if you're just mad about it.
Or your
Both of
day.
which are entirely possible.
Dang it. I was just trying my best, guys.
All right, so back to the junior. I want to keep it real. I don't think we need a junior size bag, at least not yet. I mean, we have the junior Judge, we have the junior EMAC Truth,
Yeah.
all really cool discs. Are we going to have more?
Maybe.
I mean, yes, I know of one more mold that we're coming out with that it'll be, I'm not sure when, but it's coming out. But, only having a handful of discs and then creating a bag for it, I get it. It's cool to have a junior, a young kid that's got some junior discs and get him a bag. And I guess, if they have other stuff like the mini, who else has the stuff? The buzzes, the mini.
Oh
and-
yeah, the mini nukes and mini buzzes.
yeah, and stuff like that. I mean, I know other places. So yeah, I guess that's more choices. But I guess I just don't see that there's enough molds out there for even everybody to warrant a bag to
They're
carry it all.
small. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, easy enough to carry just by themselves.
Right.
or you could buy a cadet bag
And just that's true.
or a trooper.
Yeah.
When they come out.
Yeah.
Do you know when they're coming out? The trooper.
No.
I just figured I'd see if you were just like throw out an answer.
Oh yeah, not knowing. Oh, August 15th. Oh, no, I don't know. I don't know a specific date. So that's just my now. I'm not saying that that's like the absolute no on the idea.
It's
of a
not really
smaller-
something we've talked about.
It's
a whole
just
lot yet.
it just
Yeah.
doesn't seem like practical at this moment in time.
Yeah.
But
Any other
to
opinions?
be fair,
Uh-huh.
we also didn't know if junior discs would be practical.
Right.
This is true.
And they are out. So.
Very true. Next one is from Ryan.
What about Boo?
What about Boo? Next one is from Boo. Sorry, Boo. Here it is.
What's up, guys? I need some advice today. I'm hoping to put in my first order of Disc Golf Nerd stamped custom discs with you guys sometime this summer. And I feel like the Deputy would be great for this purpose, but it's not available until the fall. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on what would be the best putter that's available in the baseline plastic that I can get into the hands of a beginner or a more of a newer player that can learn how to throw and learn the basics on, but it's still something that can be used by the average player out there as well. I'm thinking maybe a Pure, maybe a Warden, something like that. Seeing what you guys thought would be a good option for that, something that beginners can use, and again, also still be functional for your average player out there on the course. Also, other than the EMAC Truth and my favorites, the Trespass and the Compass, are there any other Trilogy molds that you guys think are a no-brainer that I should definitely include as part of the order? That's my question for today. Thanks so much. I will check you guys later. All right, bye.
Good question.
All right, wait.
He always keeps it so funky.
I know, I dig it.
But before you answer it,
Are you going to put funk on our answers?
yeah, we got to have some funk. We got to lay the funk. I'm going to get some funk that I grabbed the other day.
Whoa.
I just every now and then I go around grabbing funk.
Seems like you should rephrase that.
What?
Huh?
Huh? What? I'm sorry.
Excuse me, what?
Huh? What was that?
You don't like the funk? Okay,
Who
it's taking too long. Go
wants
ahead and
the
answer
funk?
his question. I'll
Okay.
find the funk.
Get the funk out of here. As far as putters go, I'm gonna suggest Judge and Warden. Actually, I mean it's not going to cost you that much more to do both, and they have similar flights to them. Just one has a bead, one doesn't. So it's kind of like personal preference on how it feels in the hand. So I would suggest Judge and Warden.
Yeah, just to give some options. And honestly, the prime Judges and Wardens are are really good choices for something like that. For our day in the park the other day, I took Prime Wardens out there just because that's what we had on the shelf. And Eric and I were talking about like a little wrap up after the day was over. And he was feeling the Warden. He's like, dude, this feels really good. Like the Prime plastic is still really quality plastic. And it's the lowest price point for you for something like a custom stamp. So
yeah, I would go Prime Judge and Prime Warden.
I would agree.
And then as far as another disc,
other staples, he says he's doing the Trespass and the Compass, and obviously the EMAC Truth.
Yep.
Duh.
Got to go with the EMAC Truth in every plastic available.
Yes. Yes, that's right. That's right. Eric will thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Personally. But as far as another, I mean, we didn't answer the question yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll keep the funk going.
I would suggest.
Wait, is this another part of the question?
This is part 2 of the question.
Part 2 of the question? Let's get some different funk.
Different funk.
I was going to say, you're too busy thinking about funk.
I know.
Dude, I'm feeling this.
I would. Man, that's a tough because there's so many good answers out there. I would go with one of my favorites, the Defender.
Yep.
Because it's just an overall popular mold. A lot of people love it. It's not necessarily a good disc for beginners or players with lower arm speeds, but I don't think that's just your target out there either.
Right.
So
right. I might
if you're
consider
going to Trespasses and Compasses and Emacs.
It'd be good to have a complement to those. Yeah, I might consider, if it is going to be a little bit more beginner friendly, I might consider an Escape, a Biofusion Escape or something. Because I still get a lot of use out of my Escapes.
So does Rusco. He played on my card at Tags last night, and he threw that a lot.
Yeah. If you have a natural hyzer release, the Escape, and you're not just like killing everything super far all the time, the Escape can fly really well for you.
Yeah.
All right, there you go, guys. The funky answer brought to you by Eric and Robert.
I'm glad you didn't throw in a nickname there. A guy on Facebook suggested, Robert, is he just a summer intern or what? McCall. No, I work here, okay? Dude who said that? Rude.
All right, back to the questions. Let's see. This one is from Justin.
At least I hope it's not just a
back to
summer
Ryan.
internship.
I forgot about Ryan. Sorry, Ryan. Here we go.
Hi, my name's Ryan. I'd like to get a comparison of the stability of the different plastic types across the Trilogy line. So typically fluid is more stable, but can kind of give everybody an idea of how the plastic differs in stability. Thank you.
So,
All
what's
right.
a quick rundown, Robert? Like start with like a popular one down to.
Sure.
Are you able to do from overstable back to understable?
It's
or?
different. It's different for different molds, honestly. But speaking in generalities, I would say fluid is the most overstable, followed by lucid a lot of the times, and then lucid and fusion are pretty close to one another. Usually, lucid is a touch more overstable, and then biofusion is usually less stable than fusion plastic. Then our classics are in there now. If you get a prime like a Justice or a prime Verdict or something, those usually start out slightly more overstable than their premium plastic counterparts. But because they're prime plastic, they get beat up a little bit more quickly and they wear in a little bit more quickly, and so they're not going to stay really overstable for a really long time. I'm not saying you hit one tree and all of a sudden it's not overstable, but in general, talking about premium plastics. That's where I would put those.
I would agree with that.
The Biofusion Criminal just came out, and it is slightly straighter than the Lucid ones. That still doesn't mean it's not overstable. It's very overstable, but it'll just hold a little bit straighter line.
And it's going to beat in quicker.
Yeah. Yeah. I just got one the other day that I've been working in, and it's right. But yeah, that's the order I'd put them in. You think that's about right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Cool.
Very cool. All right, let's move on to the next question. This one is from Justin. I keep on to have fun with people's names, like Justin.
Mm-hmm.
No,
but that's offensive.
Yeah,
that's offensive.
You don't know that Justin's French or not. Okay,
that's true.
His last, well, I don't want to say his last name.
It's probably good.
It's probably not French. I don't know.
Anyway, is it Le Pew?
Pepe Le Pew?
Yeah, brother to Pepe.
What was that? Pepe Le Pew, but what would he always say? Remember?
Oh,
he said a lot of things.
I know, but there was a lot. He would say something, but he always go.
Pepe Le Pew.
I don't remember.
You don't remember Pepe Le Pew?
I remember Pepe Le Pew, but it's been forever since I've thought about it.
Oh, okay. Since you've thought about it, I was
Yeah.
thinking about it the other day.
I was just thinking about him.
Yeah, well, until just now.
Here we go.
Hey guys, Justin Replogle here from Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and
his
I
last
just have
name.
a quick question.
That's right. Lived there for about 20 some odd years.
He just gave his last name.
Oh, he
you
did.
said you didn't want to.
Yeah, that's true. Replogle. Replogle? Yeah, that's not French. Here we go.
Doubt
Sorry,
it.
Justin. Here
Doubt
we go.
it.
For y'all today about running events. I was thinking about starting an indoor putting league at my local church and inviting both very experienced local club members and people who have probably never touched a disc before in their life. My question is, do you have any advice or suggestions on running a small event like this? Any ideas on getting people in the door? Is it a bad idea or a good idea to invite both very experienced players and inexperienced players? Yeah, just any suggestions you guys have on this topic would be a great help to me. I appreciate all you guys do for the sport. Keep on doing what you're doing. Thank you very much.
The more the merrier, I would say.
Yeah.
As far as getting them in the door, that's probably the most difficult part, especially getting the inexperienced players in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I guess my suggestion would be, I don't know if we're going to do it. I assume we're still going to do it this next year. The
Winter Marksman League?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I thought it was pretty good this year, so maybe that's something you could look into doing, like do it over time. Like every week you get points and it all accumulates, and at the end of the league, the winner wins the basket, which is what we did. Which, speaking of which, that basket's at my house.
Oh, because you won?
Because I won.
Dang.
But no, yeah, I would absolutely bring as many people as possible, beginners especially, because this is a great opportunity for them to putt next to more experienced players if it's something that they want to learn, or they can go out in groups of their own.
Right. And it's non-threatening.
Just have a good time.
Like, you can just get in and, okay, say you miss every putt. Whatever. I mean, it's not like you're out on the disc golf course sweating a lot and losing discs in the water and stuff.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to get people involved. You could run it a couple of different ways. One would be to do divisions, do singles, to where you can really split up the experienced people and inexperienced people so that the inexperienced people don't just feel demoralized when they lose. But I would still intermingle them together. I would
absolutely.
I'd make it so that they play with one another. Just so, yeah, like you said, they can watch more experienced people putt. But you could also do random draw doubles or something like that, to where, say, a brand new person walks into putting league, they've never really thrown a disc before, and they get partnered up with Eric. They've got a pretty good chance of winning, or at least making some money or something, just because they're partnered with somebody who's good. So,
do that, or a really big game of knockout.
That's so tiring. Have you done it before?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
we did it at GBO this year for a part of our team putting thing, and it's very tiring, but
It's
really
fun.
fun too.
So speaking of questions on running tournaments, I get that quite often on Facebook, and we have somebody who is very experienced. Of course, we have Doug Bjorkus, but we also have Mr. Disc Golf, Mike Solt, who's very experienced at running a lot of successful tournaments. Anyway, we're going to do some things on our Facebook page on Dynamic Discs where we're going to have some live videos from our players. He's going to be our first one, and he's going to do, the topic is going to be running tournaments.
Cool.
So we're going to...
Mr. Solt is great at this too. I mean, he's done this type of stuff. He used to have a podcast that I used to listen to quite a bit. And
the local route.
The local route.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's a very cool dude. So when I asked some people if they want to do it, he was like, "Oh, I'd love to do it." And he jumped on the opportunity to do it. So we're gonna set it up. I'll make an event page. So if you don't follow us on on Facebook, follow Dynamic Discs, and that way you'll be notified about the live video. And he's just going to be a Q&A. And you ask a question, and he's going to answer it on the air live. So excited about that. We're going to try to schedule that next Wednesday.
Cool.
And hopefully we'll get some more of the team players to do stuff like that.
Are you doing it?
I'm looking at you.
I'm ready.
Robert McCall. No, it's what it is it's
oh, he's going to go live.
Yeah,
okay.
but on the DD page. There's like a new feature where you can make someone a live contributor.
Okay.
And so we're going to test it out here in the next couple of days, but I believe, if I'm thinking right, he'll just go live from the DD page, and it'll say Dynamic Discs, but it'll be his phone.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're going to...
I wasn't sure if you're going to have to do the picture-in-picture stuff we did. But
No, he's just going to do it right there, and so I want to experiment more with that type of stuff.
Yeah,
with Facebook.
I think that'll be awesome.
Yeah. All right, next question comes from Tyler.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. My name is Tyler, and I have 2 questions for you guys. My first is for Robert and Eric, and it is, when did you guys, really step up your distance game? When did you go from like a 350 player to a...
Why didn't he include me in that?
I don't know, man.
Maybe the second question is for you.
Okay.
450 player. What steps did you guys take to get there? Any advice you guys have to really reach that next level? Because, I'm stepping up to the tee pad. I feel like I'm crushing the disc, and it's only going 350 feet, and I'm wondering why I'm not Eric McCabe. My second question is specifically for Robert.
All right, we'll do this one first.
No questions for you,
No
Bobby.
questions for me. So,
Sorry, dog.
I'm going to turn off a feature for Tyler so he can't send a question.
Yeah, sorry.
Tyler, ask Bobby a question next
Yeah.
time. When did I notice go from like 350? Well, I've been playing for so long now.
It's been a minute.
He doesn't remember when he noticed them.
I mean, honestly, I've always. Let me say, I've never really thrown super far. I've always thrown far enough.
Right.
I'm not by any means a big distance player, but I throw pretty far.
You can get them out there.
Yeah.
Like
for my stature.
How far is hole 7 at East?
Am I right?
No, that's
my
true.
Stature.
How far is hole 7 at East?
Anthony,
5 something.
How far is hole 7
at East?
Yeah.
544?
Yeah. Eric and I were playing doubles. I threw a safe hyzer shot, as mortals do. Eric went for the green and put it probably 10 feet out. So he's got 500 plus feet of power.
When I need it.
Yeah.
I keep it bottled up and I break it out.
Do you get really mad?
But was there a point where like, man, I'm getting a lot of distance? And do you remember what you did or changed, or was it just kind of one of those?
I think what kind of, when I really started noticing more and more getting distance is when I was doing more of the stretching, the flexibility training, that kind of aspect of it, instead of like just going out and running a mile or lifting weights or that side of things. I guess when I did my workouts, I would concentrate more on stretching, like just simple as that. Like if you're watching TV, you could just get on the floor and do some stretches, some resistance band training, that kind of thing. And being able to uncoil literally is where all of my distance comes from. And a lot of it was trying out different discs. If I'm only getting one to go a certain distance, try it in a lighter weight, or maybe try it the next step down in stability, But keeping in mind, too, that I also like to preach that distance isn't everything. Everybody wants to throw far. Everybody. All I want to do is be able to throw far, which is cool. Yeah. It's great. That doesn't get you... it gets you places, sure, but if you ask any of the top players if they would rather... make every putt or pin every approach or be able to throw 500-600 feet. I would assume the majority of them are going to want to hit every putt because that's where the tournaments are won.
Yep.
And if you've ever seen a picture or a video of Eric McCabe driving, coil is probably a very good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Coil and uncoiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Robert, looking back at you, when did you discover that your hair was just as cool as it was?
That's right. That's when I made a real big jump in my game. For distance, for me, I think it was a couple of things. One,
Bobby, he'll let you guys know when he reaches that 400.
I was going to say, I was about to say, I'd love to be a 450 player. No, okay, like just flat out, we're going out to throw in a field and I'm going to throw it as far as I can. Yeah, 450, 470, probably. But that's never on a golf line, and I'm not counting on that distance.
That's true. There's two different types of distance. You can throw it 500 feet, but you can throw a golf shot 500 feet, which is more impressive.
Yeah. So my just straight open field distance for me is not that much farther than my golf distance because I practice golf distance, right? So I try and throw straight shots and hyzers and big turnovers instead of just flexes. But on a golf line, I'm probably not throwing much over 400, maybe 410, 420, but not a lot. But when I started seeing that I was getting more and more distance was when I did a couple of things. One was I slowed down my run up and smoothed my arm out a whole lot because it was really jerky before. I tried to do everything really fast, and you're putting in a lot of effort to see almost no result. But then when you smooth everything out, it makes a really big difference. And once I learned that I could do that, I would go out in a field and just throw my drivers and my putters and my mids and just try and throw the next one farther than I threw the last one. So I'll go out and throw, for me now, I'll throw one of my enforcers as far as I can and then grab my next enforcer and see if I can't put it 10 feet farther, 20 feet farther. That's what I was doing a lot. And that was probably, 2 to 3 years after I started playing, when I really started to see a big jump in distance. But I mean, like Eric, I don't throw as far as Eric, but my game is predicated upon throwing good upshots and good putts. That's where I score.
I will point out, though, on the Willett Heiser episode we recorded this morning, I did throw farther than Eric McCabe.
That's true.
You'll have to find out how I achieved that on the video.
That is very much true.
All right, next part of Ryan's question.
I heard in an earlier podcast that you just had knee surgery a few years ago, and I was wondering, what did you do to get back in the game? I recently had ACL surgery about 13 weeks ago, and I was just wondering if you had any tips, advice, or anything to be aware of in the process to getting back in the game. I feel like I'm getting back in the game pretty fine, but I didn't know. You've had the experience and I haven't. So those are my 2 questions. I just want to thank you guys for everything you guys do for the game, and keep it real.
Cool. He did a lot of crying and whining. I know that.
If only you knew, my friend. So I've had both of those. I've done ACL and meniscus surgery on my left knee. That was when I was in college. I was 21. It was actually before I was playing disc golf. And then the most recent one was just a meniscus repair, but it took a long time to get back because it just didn't quite take exactly how it's supposed to. So the advice that I would give to you if you're getting back into disc golf is, 1, don't rush it. One of the form flaws that I have right now is I get my shoulders out in front of the disc. And my arm is still close to my body, but I'm not creating proper angles. And the reason for that is when I started throwing again, I would really try and protect my plant knee, because the second one was my right knee. So I would just twist my upper body. And in order to get any type of distance, you really have to lead your shoulders. And now I have that habit. I'm working to improve it, but it's pretty annoying. And so what I would tell you, number 1, is don't come back too quickly, because you're going to form bad habits, because you'll be protecting one side of your body or the other. But after that, I would just say temper your expectations. When I came back, I was not expecting to throw the rounds that I did before, and I didn't, and I haven't, at least not as regularly as I did before that. And so, if you're used to parking a hole that's 400 feet and you start coming up short, understand that that's okay. Like, you don't have to force it in order to get there. You're going to get back to it, but it's almost just like pressing reset and starting over. So. Yeah, good luck to you, man. Make sure you don't re-injure yourself, because that's even worse than having to take it slow on the front end.
That's is it kind of ironic that he's asking about how to get more distance and asking about an injury too?
Right, yeah. Well, maybe.
I mean, take it easy is what I'm trying. Don't go out there and try to just throw absolute distance. Coming off an injury, I would almost suggest coming out and just working on putting and approaches as opposed
that's
to
a good
working
call.
on any type of distance shots.
That's a good call. Well, I know, like, Simon had that knee surgery, and I don't think he's throwing 360s much right now.
I wouldn't either.
I certainly don't right now, but yeah, easing back into it, I think, is a good play.
Yeah. Next one is from Jason.
Hey guys, I'm Jason. I'm an intermediate disc golfer, and I'm kind of having a hard time setting my bag for the summer. And I had this thought: would you ever do an in the bag video with a pro about what their starting bag was as a beginner, or maybe what their intermediate bag was? Or instead of that, maybe if they were to build a bag for a friend who's just starting, who's played for a little bit, what they might put into that bag. While the in the bag videos of the pros are great, I don't need a 12-speed overstable driver. It's just not going to fly well for me. So that's my thought. Thank you for everything you do. Robert McCall, glad you're on the show. You're a great addition.
So, speaking of that, actually, that's a project that
funny you ask.
Is that an idea that Jeremy had, and one that we're building is sort of along the lines of that. And we filmed a little bit with Robert, and we're going to film some more. But it's along those lines of having a different bag, because, yes, it is good to learn from the Eric McCabe videos. I mean, you get some ideas, but...
And I think a lot of the top pros in the bags are just for players to see what they're throwing.
Right.
I don't necessarily think it's I got to see what they're throwing, and this is exactly what I'm going to start throwing. Some of that, but not the majority.
Sure. So, yes, we're going to have a couple videos come out with Robert in it. We're going to talk about that type of, that's going to be the topic, is what a average person should throw and intermediate players should throw. And I think, the more I hear about this, I think we need to do maybe in the bags with somebody like, maybe Anthony or
Ooh, can I film it and edit it?
Anthony honestly throws... Anthony probably throws a little too far for it to be really helpful for people like this.
I think Anthony's would be good. What's your rating, Anthony?
I think Anthony's pretty average, below season.
Low 9, yeah, I think that'd be good.
But I'm saying he throws farther than most intermediate players do.
He does throw far.
Crusher.
But I mean,
in your face.
But maybe we need to grab like myself, or maybe like Sedgwick, Matt Sedgwick.
Sedgwick would be great.
Yeah,
I'd love to see a Matt Sedgwick in the bag.
Dude, I want to see Sedgwick on camera more than anything.
Yes.
But the average Joe type person do an in the bag. Maybe
we should get Clay to do it, because
he would not. He would.
He loves the camera.
Maybe with like a hidden camera.
Look.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just kind of walking. Hey,
what do you throw, Clay?
What do you throw? Oh, make sure you look at the teddy bear over there when you say it. Too.
Yeah, he's such a goof,
that's got
dude.
the camera. No. All right. Last question is from Nate.
Hi guys, just wanted to say great show, and McCall's a great addition to the team. Love what you guys.
How much you paying these guys?
Yeah,
$20 a pop.
Dang, that's $40.
Do and keep it up. My question is how big should your disc bag be? I'm an intermediate golfer, and I'm wondering what slots I should be trying to fill, because right now I have a 22 disc bag, and I just feel it's a little too much, because when I go to grab a disc, I think that's the disc for the shot, but I'm not as familiar with it. Should I go to the disc that I'm more familiar with?
I've had that,
and I don't feel like I really should need to make that choice. It should just be, that's the disc that I go to for the shot. So yeah, I guess what slots should I be looking to fill as an intermediate golfer? Part of it too is I don't have a great forehand. It's coming along, but I'm kind of capping right now at about 250 to 275, at least under control. So I kind of fill a lot of other slots with, some flippier discs. But yeah, just interested to see what you guys have for opinions as to what disc slot should be in your bag for your skill level. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
First of all,
I don't think we've had that question.
No, that's a good question. And I would be proud of your 250 to 275 controlled forehand. Like that's really not bad, man. Like that's a great tool to have. I think I have a similar philosophy to Eric, but I carry a few more discs than he does. So talk about what you would do if you're just brand new setting up a bag. What slots do you need covered?
Well, for me, I strongly believe that a good solid straight flying neutral mid-range and fairway driver, you can't go wrong with those two. Like, and I'm not just selling this disc, but the EMAC Truth and the Lucid Convict. Yep. Both of those discs are two must-have for just about anybody. Anybody can throw those discs, but they're nice, they're straight, they're neutral. Those two are must-haves. And then, as Bobby sends a text message,
cool.
No, I'm kidding. A decent driver, similar to like a Trespass, is another one that's great. For me, I like to keep it very, very simple. I don't like to have a whole lot of options in my bag, and I think a player learning their game, evolving their game, should really take that advice. And mainly because how many times have you stepped up to a tee pad and been like, well, like this happened last night, for instance. A guy told me, well, I don't know what to throw, if I should throw my Trespass or my sword. And to me,
incredibly similar discs.
I don't think you need both of those in the bag. I mean, I get it if you're just trying to learn them and trying to figure out which one you want in the bag. That makes perfect sense. But you really just got to grab one and stick to that one, because there's really not one that one can do that the other can't necessarily. You just don't want to have to be on a tee pad and have to choose between 2 or 3 discs that are very similar. So just try to keep it a little more simple and learn technique, form, accurate shots before moving on to having a bag full of multiple different discs.
Sure. I would say too, and the disc that you're talking about, especially the EMAC Truth and Lucid Convict. I mean, staples for me. I threw the Convict actually in a lot of wind this weekend, and it did really well. If I was just building an intermediate player's bag who has played some tournaments and is experienced but is looking to limit some molds, I would make sure that you have kind of 3 stabilities in each speed covered, which would be if you've got your distance drivers, if you've got, the arm to throw a distance driver, if you're throwing it, 300 to 380, 400, wherever. I would have overstable, straight, and understable. I'd want that in each of my speed categories, and that's kind of how I build my bag. Yep. Is I've got my defenders and enforcers. And I bag a trespass and a sheriff too. So in those, I've got all sorts of from overstable to understable, including just really super straight. And I think a neutral flying disc in each of those sections is a must. Like you need to have something that you can throw straight. Same thing for fairways for me. I've got criminals to convicts to escapes, and those go from overstable to understable. And then mid ranges, I have a verdict, and I think I have 4 EMAC Truths right now, all in different stages of wear, overstable to understable. And then I do the same with my throwing putters. And I think if you have those stabilities covered in each speed area of your bag, you probably don't need a lot more than that. So for me, I could reasonably take out the sheriff in favor of one of my bio defenders or a trespass or something like that. But I've got a cart. I know what those discs do differently. I'm not worried about picking the wrong one. If you are, simplifying is the absolute way to go. Fast to slow and overstable to understable. Get those covered, and I think you can have a pretty good bag setup. Yep. That could be, I don't know, 12 to 15, 16 discs. Yeah, something like that.
Very cool, guys. Very cool. We're going to wrap this up real quick. We're going to briefly talk about next week. We are all going to be gone.
Yeah, we gone.
You're leaving at a different time than us, though, but you'll be gone next week. We are all making our way to Georgia for the 2017 PDGA Pro Worlds. You're you're flying, but just a different time.
I'm flying back with you guys.
Okay. So anyway, we're going down there. Of course, I'm going down there to see if I can capture some pictures and some video of our players. Robert's going down there. I'm not sure why.
Dude, whatever, man. I support the team players, all right? I am the hype man.
He is a team manager.
Put me on the bag and see what happens.
He'll be out there cheering on and encouraging and supporting our players. And then Eric McCabe, of course, is going to go there to help support Paige Pierce. Now, you're going to, that's what you're doing, right? You're going to caddy for the whole,
I'm not getting there till Friday, Saturday is the only days I'm going to be there for competition. So I'll caddy the last 2 days for Paige.
And if you're not aware of the history between Eric and Paige, Eric has basically been there since the beginning of Paige's disc golf career.
I was on her bag when she won her first Worlds.
Yeah.
So I was right by her side pretty much at every World she's won.
Yeah, so very much a mentor-mentee relationship. So it's going to be really cool to have Eric be able to be there and coach her through the final rounds. So because of that, we won't be here.
Tell her throw it far.
Yeah,
he's a good
far, throw good.
Hey, so listen, if you just make it in this first one, that's better.
It's so much easier than putting.
So just do that.
So we're not going to be here to record next week, so sorry about that. We might have, obviously, we like to have fun when we're out there. We're going to do some videos. Make sure you follow us on youtube.com/dynamicdiscs so you can watch our adventures while we go out there and have some fun in Georgia.
And actually, the following week, I will not be back.
Oh, that's right, because you're going to...
Actually, yes, I will.
Oh,
never mind.
All right, never mind.
False information.
That is after...
Fake news.
That is after Nashville.
Nashville, that's
I won't be back.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, you guys should go ahead and sign up for Nashville because there is still some spots
Disc golf
available.
experience at Nissan Stadium.
Absolutely. And we knew that Packens Age,
my two favorite disc golfers,
and Paige Pierce will be there to join in the festivities. And then we have confirmed that Eric Oakley and Tina Stenitis will be there as well.
They will.
So we're going to have a lot of really cool stuff there, a lot of cool fun. So make sure you search for that on Disc Golf Scene. Nissan Stadium, get signed up.
And Eric and Tina now have one of their fundraiser stamps for the year is our Wheat Shield stamp. It looks awesome.
It does.
You have got to check it out and pick one up from them. It helps keep them on tour. And just supporting them as they run clinics and events. But it's a really super cool stamp
It is.
also.
I dig it.
Nice. So tell us, guys. Now, Eric, you've played those courses, yes? No?
At Worlds?
Yeah.
I've played one of them.
One of them.
One of them. Okay. So, but tell us about that area and what probably maybe what they can expect as far as the course out there.
Well, the course that I have played, expect a lot of bad kicks.
Really a lot
Because
of
it
trees.
is thick woods. It is very. The IDGC is very known for having very thick woods. Yeah, I mean a lot of. That's why I think you're going to see a player like Sarah Hokum is going to perform very well because she plays very well in the woods. Ricky plays very well in the woods. And what does that kind of contribute there? I mean, it kind of tells you how important a forehand disc or forehand shot is in the woods.
Yeah.
So, look for both of those players to play very well this week. The other course I don't know much about other than I'm going to need a background check to get in.
Yeah, I just found that out today.
And it's on a military base, which makes sense why you need to get a background check to get in. The other thing that I actually just found out that I didn't know that Worlds was only 4 rounds this year and no final.
Yep, no final.
Which
72 holes, that's it.
That's it. I mean, I get it. That's cool. That's kind of, how majors are in the golf scene and in more prestigious type events, but there's just something about a Final 9 during Pro Worlds that is like
big gallery.
It's kind of like a victory lap for potentially a victory lap or an awesome battle that you get to see take place.
Absolutely.
So I'm really going to miss that side of it, not having that. And for instance, I don't know how the format's going to be. I don't know any of that. So who knows if like I know, for instance, Paige, or for the year I won Worlds, the women teed off, right? They kind of, for the Final 9, they would just let them go in different groups. Well, the women teed off. When they finished is when we started.
Right. So you could have the gallery for everybody.
So they could come and watch,
Yeah.
I mean, and that just makes so much sense to me.
Right.
And I really wish that that's kind of the way they were doing. I kind of think it's a step back almost, not having the final, especially if you're taking a whole round away. But I guess we'll see. I hope it's great.
I think because
it'll
of that,
be great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bad mouthing PDGA or anything like that, but I just really think they should have left the Final 9 in there.
Yeah, I think because of that, it could honestly kind of be anybody's game.
Absolutely.
Who
I mean,
because like Ricky started slow at Beaver State.
Well, think about it. It's going to be less pressure.
Yeah.
Honestly, not playing in front of a massive gallery like that, it's going to be not as much pressure behind a couple of the players, and go back and past if you just. It'd be interesting to do that, to go back and look at only the first 4 rounds of Worlds and see who would have won. See if Paul would have won all of those, or if he made his charge during the 5th or 6th round.
Right.
I mean, it's
your Worlds. You had a big late charge.
I did.
There, right?
I had a hot round. I think it was the 5th round. So I probably wouldn't have won either. So
yeah.
It's just
I'm interested to see how that
granted
affects
it's a little
it for
different.
Sure.
The mindset's going to be different and all that. So you
totally.
can't necessarily go back and look at that. But
right.
It'll be interesting because there's a lot of players that can really battle, but when it's a marathon, the cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
And so I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
So what do you think? It's going to be
I guess we can make some bold predictions.
I don't know if my prediction will be so bold.
Well, that's true.
I mean, do you think it's going to be 1 and 2?
Okay.
Normal?
Who do you think's going to finich 3rd?
Okay.
That's a bold prediction.
I mean, I think Ricky 1, Paul 2. That's what I think. 3rd place.
It's tough.
Sexton.
Sexton's a good answer.
He is such a good player,
Sexton's
man.
a good answer.
He doesn't make mistakes. He can pull a flashy play out every once in a while.
He's got a great forehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a great putter.
That's a good one.
I take Sexton 3rd.
I'm taking Mikey Joe.
Yeah.
Michael Johansson.
Why is that?
Because he is a phenomenal woods player.
Yeah, he throws that comet on super straight, even slight turnovers.
If he would tour full time, he would have a lot more wins, bigger wins.
Yep.
He's a scary player because he does not care.
Nope, doesn't care.
He's out there having fun, and that is a scary competitor to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with someone even different. I'm going to go Josh Anton.
Okay,
yeah. He's been playing well.
I think he's going to get back on his second train.
Yeah.
Because he's finished second 3 years in a row.
Oh, that's
to
true.
3 different people. But
that's true. His second train. So you're thinking he might get second place?
There's a chance.
Because I was going to go
honestly
there.
could.
I was actually going to go there.
He
I'm
honestly
thinking
could.
it's going to be Ricky number 1, and I really think Anton is
Really?
going to put number
Okay.
2.
Yeah.
Where's Paul finishing? Your
You got him third?
you got him in
I don't
8th?
know. Depends on if
Probably
it rains
eighth.
or not.
Yeah,
I
that
don't know.
sounds right.
Just
Oh,
kidding.
did you hear me?
Yeah.
If it rains.
Dude.
I'm just kidding.
Worlds is only
win
going to
if
be
it's
3
default.
rounds.
Oh, what a joke, man.
I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. They're just Anton is just a good player.
He's solid.
and he's got everything aside as far as your opinion on what happened to him and things like that.
Sure.
He's got a new lease on life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to me, I'm just seeing his interview that he did on Smashbox and stuff like that. He's ready to make the most of that second chance.
When he's like what you said about Michael Johansson, he's fearless.
Yeah.
Any putt, Obi right behind, I don't care. I'll never see my putter again. I don't care. I'm going to make it.
But the difference in fearless between the two is if he misses, he's not happy. If Anton or if Mikey Joe misses, he's like, whatever.
Well, I'm playing disc golf.
I'll make the next one.
Yeah, and he will.
Yeah.
On the women's side,
it's pretty much unanimous.
I like Paige to win.
I mean, how could you? Nothing against the other women, but how could you not pick somebody who just won Beaver State Fling by 18 strokes, 4 rounds,
averaged over 1,000,
4 rounds?
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be Katrina?
It's an odd year. It's an odd year.
Yeah. So Paige then Katrina.
I think Holcomb.
Do you think Holcomb's going to bring up that side?
I think Holcomb, because if you look back at Portland Worlds, or not Portland, I'm sorry, Pittsburgh Worlds, if without the tragic car accident, Holcomb would have won.
Yeah,
and she ended up in second.
Yeah.
And those courses are very wooded, with the exception of Slippery Rock. So yeah, my prediction is Paige Holcomb.
Yep.
I might have to go Paige Holcomb too, even though it sounds like but.
I don't know. I think Katrina is a great competitor. I just
100%.
I think
is Valerie good in the woods?
Valerie plays pretty steady everywhere.
steady.
Honestly,
Yeah,
she
that's
just
true.
she doesn't make big mistakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I was trying to get at was Katrina is a great competitor. She has every capability of winning this thing
For sure.
But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like she wants to be out there. You know, I mean, and that's a whole nother topic, and it's none of my business of what's going on. But I wish her nothing but the best. But I want to see her have that
something
fire
there
again.
that's not. There's something missing. There is, because looking at past tournaments, where she's placed like 5th or 6th or something like that, it's like that's not the Katrina that you got that we remember or we think of when we think of Katrina Allen.
Yeah,
and I don't, obviously, all positive vibe for Katrina.
I love Kat to death.
She's an amazing competitor,
Totally.
amazing disc golf athlete, and so it's just like, obviously I like seeing Paige win,
right?
But then when I see Katrina in the 3rd, 4th, 5th spot, I'm thinking, what's going on, Katrina? Is everything okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah,
not like what's wrong with you,
right? But
like,
yeah, is everything
as a concerned friend,
right?
I want to see her play well,
for sure.
Anyway, all right, guys. Well, there's kind of our sort of predictions.
Sort of.
You like the jazz hands?
Yeah, I particularly did.
sort of
kind of predictions. So you never really said.
What did I say?
I mean, you said Ricky Anton.
Yes, I'm going Ricky Anton.
Are you going Paul in there?
I'm going Ricky Anton, Paul.
Ricky Anton, Paul.
And you said what? Ricky, Paul. You kind of alluded to. I mean, you made a joke kind of about it, but
I did, and I don't. Honestly, I would love to see Anton up there, but I don't know that we'll see that.
You think this is too big of a stage?
I don't think it's the stage.
I don't know if it's the stage, but he did not perform as well at Beaver State.
Yeah,
more wooded
What did
courses.
he get at Beaver State?
I don't know. I know he was on the lead card at
he
one
was top
point,
10
or second
something.
card. He was it was a great finish. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say what's going to happen, but there's just so many great players out there. Anything can happen, and it's hard not to pick a Sexton to finish in the top 4. Maybe even a big germ, because it is only 4 rounds, and it's a forehand friendly environment. At least one of the courses.
You just said what my top 4 would be. It'd be Ricky, Paul, Sexton, Germ, and I could even see Sexton or Germ taking second. Truly.
Yeah,
I'm excited. We're gonna be there to watch it.
I think Ricky
can't
wins.
wait.
I think Ricky is he's going to repeat. I truly
and he's
believe
played
that.
well at the Jackson course before.
He's won a major there.
Yes, he has.
Well, Josh got 9th place at Beaver State. Zach Melton, he got 10th.
Dude, Zach played well. He had one. His 3rd round wasn't great. And everything else was pretty solid, man.
Yeah, he shot a 54 round 1, which is very solid. compared to everybody else.
He texted me earlier in the week and said, "Don't let Paige beat you." This weekend.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we got. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, we're going to skip next week. We'll be back the week after. Make sure you follow us, youtube.com/dynamicdiscs. Make sure the secret word Beetlejuice when you enter discgolfansman.com/subscriber. And we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Nope, we won't.
The week after.
We'll see you later on sometime.